Welcome to my channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John. Last week I did a video titled My Favorite Year in Metal, and I chose 1989. So what I'm going to do is continue with that. So this is going to be part 2 of 1989. So before I begin, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. And if you'd like to purchase any of the albums you see here through Amazon US, you can click on the affiliate link in the video description. So I'm not going to waste any more time, and I'm just going to be focusing on albums that I was listening to and that I purchased on CD back in 1989 when I was only 18 years old and I was just getting into metal. So I'm not wasting any more time. My first one is Sonic Temple by The Cult. So this was their 4th album. I remember buying the CD after watching the music video for Firewoman on MTV. So back then I thought they were just like another hair metal band, but I gave them a listen recently and I was really surprised. They sounded a little more like something from the grunge era. The overall tone of the album reminded me a little of Pearl Jam's 10, even though that album did not come out until about 3 years later. So The Cult, that was a band that was largely influenced by classic rock bands. Think about what would the Doors sound like if Jim Morrison had survived and their sound evolved, and what would they sound like in the late 80s. That's kind of what The Cult is. Other than Firewoman, the album has a ballad called Edie, Ciao Baby. It's about Edie Sedgwick. She was an actress in the fashion industry and she worked with Andy Warhol a lot. Next is Skid Row. So this was a band. They were at first considered to be just a hair metal band, but I listened to them recently and this album, it's a lot heavier than I remember it. So if you listen to this album back to back with Warrants, Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich, which I will talk about in a minute, you're going to notice that Skid Row is a lot more of a metal band, whereas the other one is more of glam metal. Youth Gone Wild, that was a big single. I vividly remember the music video for 18 in Life. It was one of those songs that really stuck with me and probably one of those songs that I can recite all the lyrics to this day. I was 18 at the time, so that music video really spoke to me. This band was from New Jersey, and I remember they were discovered by Bon Jovi, and this album has a lot of good songs. It also has a power ballad called I Remember You. So next is Warrants, Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich. So again, I listened to this album again, and I noticed there was a lot more, I guess, call it poppy than I remember. We all remember the big hit Heaven. That was a big power ballad and really big hit. This sound has that typical Sunset Strip glam metal sound of the 80s. They had a sound similar to, I guess, Motley Crue or Poison, probably more closer to Poison, I would say. So I think this album was okay, but the next album, Cherry Pie, was a lot better in my opinion. So next is Faith No More with The Real Thing. I still have my CD here if you want to take a look. And I'm going to put the image up there. So Faith No More became popular with their hit Epic. And this was one of the first rap metal songs to reach mainstream success. This was also their first album with Mike Patton on vocals. I remember Faith No More received a lot of criticism from animal rights groups because in their music video for Epic, in the end of it, they showed a goldfish flopping around out of water, and that was kind of a big deal back then. But this album has a lot of variety. It has Surprise You're Dead, which is just straight out thrash metal. There's a cover of Black Sabbath's War Pigs. Woodpeckers from Mars, that's a Middle Eastern sounding instrumental. And the rest of the album is a mixture of hard rock, progressive rock, and funk. Next is Nuclear Assault with Handle With Care. So this was probably the heaviest album I was listening to back in 1989. Nuclear Assault was a thrash metal band, and they were very environmentally conscious. They had a music video for Critical Mass that was played on MTV's Headbangers Ball. Nuclear Assault's a band out of New York City, and they were part of those like East Coast thrash bands, like along with like Anthrax. Handle with Care was their third album, and it was their most successful. You know, it peaked at 126 on the Billboard 200. And this album is just all out, just like thrash metal, start to finish. And the last one is going to be Alice Cooper's Trash. Back in the 1980s, I actually have this one here also. And this is more of like a hair metal direction for Alice Cooper. He had a really big hit with Poison, and it was a top 10. And this was his first like top 10 hit since You and Me from 1977. And this was considered to be his comeback album. Back in 1989, this was probably one of my favorites of the year. And this album got me interested in his earlier albums. I remember going out to the record store and I bought Love to Death, $1 Billion Babies, and Welcome to My Nightmare. This had a lot of hit singles. There was Bed of Nails, House of Fire, and Only My Heart Talking, and had a lot of guest stars like John Bon Jovi and Steven Tyler. So that is it. Comment below. Let me know some more albums from 1989. There are some more. There were a few more that I bought back then, and then there are others that I discovered later on, so I can probably maybe do like another video from this year. Let me know in the comments. I have a couple more new releases coming, I guess, this week. I'll just see how it goes. And take a look at this video and this video I have linked. Like, comment, subscribe, and all of that, and I will see you in the next one.